Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan, with the Motor City Madmouth Nights crew today, including a new face out here. With that said, this will be our last broadcast in our respective studios. Next week, JB Ellis, myself, George, Candy will take it to Detroit for the NFL draft. Looking forward to that experience. So we're going to have a great crew there, and we'll be roaming around grounds of my hometown and looking to get an awful lot accomplished. With that said, let me talk about the crew. I'll go over the topics and we'll get ready to roll. All right, Candy, welcome to the Sports Exchange.
Thanks, Scott. Glad to be here.
And our newest member tonight is Joshua Dorr Burstein. Here's a guy that's active in the chat. Now he gets to take himself active, inside the broadcast. And this will be a good experience for Josh. I have a feeling on our FaceTime call tomorrow, he will never let me hear the end of it. Salute to you as well, Josh. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Scott. Happy to be here.
You're welcome. George Eichhorn. We know the show all too well, don't we?
Good to be on with all you guys. Looking forward to the show.
And last but not least, JB Ellis, a guy who's making strides in the writing department. Proud of the progress he's made in the last couple of weeks. Good stuff, JB. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. What's going on, guys?
Us. We have a show. We have a lot in the chat room. We have some big topics, and we're going to get to them. But you know what, Candy? Let's start off with the chat room because we're never going to catch up, so might as well start early. And you get to read them, Eichhorn.
Rocket scientist, what's going on? When is it going to start? It started, baby. Joshua. Okay. Looking forward to the show tonight.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
I'm going to go to bed unless the show is lit. Mr. Dorr said it's going to be litty. It's going to be, hey, gorgeous, how are you doing? What's going on? Toot from C. What's going on, Will? And are you at the pool tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I can only wish I haven't seen one of them in a while. Just
What's
keep putting
going
them
on?
up there. All right, we'll get to them. We have a really strong show tonight with some incredible breaking news that occurred today. With that said, let me go ahead and get to it. All right. Big news of the day in sports is Jonte Porter, the Toronto Raptors, his center, has received a lifetime ban from the NBA for discussing confidential info to bettors. No. JB, take it from there.
Not much to talk about with this. It's pretty simple. You have to have integrity. It's within the rules of the game. It's part of the collective bargaining agreement and the rules, the bylaws.
Right.
It's dead issue. Bye-bye, Jonte. Good luck wherever you go. You're not going to play the NBA anymore. Good luck trying to play basketball. McDonald's, Burger King, car wash, utility company, not going to make the kind of money you did at league minimum. So good luck. You ruined something good. Hopefully everyone else learns from the stupidity of that.
Overseas, maybe? I don't know. Who knows? They probably can't. Who knows what kind of bettors they have over there? All right, Candy.
We've talked about betting before on the show. Why people think they can still get away with it and they're not going to get punished is beyond me. So Adam Silver delivered the league's most severe punishment. Bye-bye, you're gone. Cardinal sin, you're no longer going to play in the NBA.
Okay, Joshua.
I'm sure he's not the last one that's going to be doing this. He's just one of the ones that got caught. The only thing I wish is he was feeding me some of that information so I can finally win some bets.
Oh, you like that, Candy? Look at this one. Candy's on. You always have a great show. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad she's a draw. Oh, look at C. He's a real big fan. You like Skittles or M&M's today? I don't know. Which one you like?
M&M's don't melt in your mouth.
And laugh loud. Josh is on. Yeah, I kind of wondered about it too when he actually asked me if he had room. So yeah, we always make room if we can. All right, look at that. See, you're not the only one that loves candy. So does C. All right, good stuff. All right, George. Betting is a no. I know because you're a Detroiter, you're going to bring up Alex Karras. I know you will, but bear in mind he didn't last. His suspension won't be nearly as long as what Mr. Porter's getting.
Yeah, well, this stuff's gone back for years and years, as we know. Alex Karras and Pete Rose, of course. And, this investigation started way back last March. So this has been a year and a month. So they did all the due diligence the league did, and obviously found out that this was very, very bad. And it's ironic that, Silver, the commissioner, I read where he was the first major U.S. sports league commissioner to advocate for legalizing and regulating sports betting. That came in a 2014, 10 years ago, op-ed in the New York Times. Well, this didn't help this guy at all. So you're out of the game, and the Toronto Raptors supported this action. So terrible way for you to end your career, buddy. But like you said, JB, they're all aware of it. It's in the collective bargaining agreement, and they know the rules.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add to the whole thing is Pete Rose obviously found out the hard way, got a lifetime ban. I think it's very easy to say that Jonte Porter is going to suffer the same fate. And I'll piggyback off of Joe. Okay, reality is trying to find a job playing in the NBA, let alone a high-paying job. Good luck. I don't know how they'll treat you overseas, Mexico, wherever. But man, how can some of these players, to me, not understand where they're at? I mean, this is a great job if you can get it. And how many people in the G League and college try to get it, only for a guy like Jonte Porter to go ahead and blow it all. To me, we've seen a lot of NBA stories where, like John Morant getting into trouble with his guns, but he got rehab, so we think. But as far as Porter, there's no rehabbing. This is a bad habit. He needs to get help. All right.
Wait, Scott. I want to add one more thing. He placed 13 bets, ranged from $15 to $22,000. His net winnings were $21,965. Was it worth it? NBA salary is what? $21,965 is less than even Caitlin Clark is going to make, and the WNBA on her rookie deal. Was it really worth it?
Well, it's pretty obvious it wasn't, because he's done. All right.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting NFL topic that I really came to my attention that was worth putting on here. Just so you know, we'll have all kinds of NFL draft coverage in Detroit beginning next week. As I mentioned before, Joe Ellis and I will be at Radio Row. Candy Ebling will be with Jeremy Bulrick, and George Eichhorn will be representing the Detroit Monitors. So, and we'll have other people that will bring along as well. But that's how the lineup is currently set up right now. All right, let's go to football. According to Matthew Washington, there was a report that New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft wanted the Atlanta Falcons owner, warned the Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank not to trust Bill Belichick. Well, so I guess we know why Belichick didn't get the job, but I'm not going to. I don't want everybody to answer that question. So I'm going to start off with George. Okay, do you think Bill Belichick gets another job in the NFL after Robert Kraft, Ahmed, all these Super Bowls threw him under the bus? Because if there was ever a time he could have gotten a job, it would have been this. And the older he gets, I think the more difficult, to me, it will be to get one. So, George, what do you think? Is Belichick ever going to work again as a coach?
I think it's going to be difficult, Scott. This was really, really headline-grabbing news today, if indeed it's true, because it forces Belichick into a tough situation, because if he did not have the support of his own owner, and then furthermore, if the owner went to a potentially new team, Atlanta, and to warn them, so to speak, this is major stuff, man. We've heard over the years the differences going on between Tom Brady, of course, and Bill Belichick, but this stuff is even worse if this is true. So, yeah, I mean, he's in his 70s. He didn't get a job this year. I don't think he should worry about it, and I think he could still do television commentary, but it all depends. I mean, what kind of charges are coming, if any, accusations, I mean. But, yeah, I think it's going to really hurt his chances. I really do.
All right, Joshua, what are your thoughts about this?
It's not really my area of expertise, but he's old. I say he's done. Let him retire. Maybe he can come on the Sports Exchange in his next career.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. Okay, but if he's done, it's good for Don Shula anyways, because then his all-time winning record is intact. Candy?
So I think what'll be interesting is Bill Belichick is co-hosting the Pat McAfee show draft spectacular on April 25th. So he'll be able to put his take on all of this. Do I think he'll coach again as a head coach? Most of the NFL is heading towards younger coaches. I don't know that they're looking for a 72-year-old coach. I'm not saying that he couldn't coach. He could, but I just don't see it happening like he wants it because let's face it, Bill Belichick, he's coached for so many years that he wants more than just coaching. He wants to be a GM as well, so he wants to have more control, and I don't think there's any team that's going to give him all of that.
Yeah, great point, Candy. I was just about to get that. Nobody's giving him control, but I'm going to turn it over to Joe.
Listen, there's a time to walk away and have some dignity. If you keep getting interview requests or being talked about and never getting the job, doesn't that look a million times worse? Sometimes you just gotta call it a career. If you call it a career, he had a great one of the best coaches in NFL history. He's going to worry about these owners that could care less, like the guy in Jacksonville who only wants to make money, doesn't want to put a winning team on the field. The owner in Atlanta who doesn't know how to hire the front office so that they can put together a winning program when they have great players on the roster already. Don't stress it. He's made plenty of money. Go coach in college. Build a team. I'm sure colleges would take him. And what a great recruiting pitch. I'm Bill Belichick with all my Super Bowl rings. I coached the greatest quarterback of all time. Think how much money he can make from the boosters if he went to a college. And he could do the same thing he did on Sundays, except on Saturday. Then he could win a national championship and say, yeah, I'm the greatest coach that ever lived. How many guys have done that?
Great point. So I'll just tell you this, Joe. I'm going to add to that, okay? Not only do I think he's an ideal fit for college, here's the biggest thing that doomed him. Anytime you force Tom Brady out like he did, that sealed his fate. If you're going to arguably the greatest quarterback, the rings prove itself. And the big thing that makes Tom Brady one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, though, wasn't not only his quarterback play, how about his unselfish nature of taking pay cuts to go out there and surround the team with better talent? I don't think that gets looked at enough. But you got Belichick, I understand his moves were trying to run people out a little bit beforehand, but then there became that open-ended debate, okay, where who would win a championship first, Belichick or Brady. Well, we saw how quickly the New England Patriots' fortune dwindled, right? Okay, and then we saw how quickly the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won it all. And once Kraft saw that his son, Tom Brady, was let out the door prematurely, don't think in a million years that didn't fester in his mind. I had enough with you, Bill. You let this guy go. And, I'll tell you what, Candy's right. All you guys are right. Okay. Nobody's giving him control anymore. Either you're going to coach or you're not going to coach. Okay. And that's it. And Joe, again, I'll go back to your point. College, okay, might be the way to go. Let me tell you, Dean Smith, how he used to go out there and recruit? One of his recruiting pitches was, if you come to play at North Carolina, and yes, the North Carolina Tar Heels, I guarantee you that we'll go ahead and play a game in your hometown. Now, I'll tell you, who would turn that down if you want to play for a marquee program, get in the pros, right? Where Dean Smith is telling you, we'll play a game in your hometown, come to play for me. I think it's pretty good, don't you? Yep. How much recruiting do you have to do? Joe said Bill Belichick. Yeah, I'm Bill Belichick, right? Okay. I can coach in college. I'll get you, bro. He's right. Dean Smith. They all had different recruiting pitches. All right. Well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit of golf, okay? And here's what I want to ask everybody a question. What's more impressive? Tiger Woods becoming the first player to make 24 consecutive cuts at the Masters, or Scottie Scheffler winning last weekend tournament? I'm going to start off with Josh.
Definitely Scottie Scheffler winning. He's on a great run right now. He's on a Tiger Woods-like run, and he's unstoppable. He's got a hard guy to beat. He just took it away on the back nine on Sunday, and it's just unbelievable to watch him play right now.
Okay. Joe?
Listen, Scottie Scheffler is in a league of his own right now. He ran away with the lead Sunday when players crumble. The players behind him just couldn't keep up. They had chances. They were down 2 strokes with 8 holes left. Before you know it, it was 4, 5 strokes. Guy's on fire, and great win.
Candy?
I get your point, you guys, that Scheffler lights out. But didn't we expect that? I don't know that we expect Tiger Woods to keep making all of these and being in there. He has had such a long career, and granted, golf is a game you can play a lot longer, but I don't know. I almost think Woods, because the longevity, we expect this out of Scottie Scheffler now, and he's on top of his game. Don't get me wrong, but is it a better feat or accomplishment? I don't know. I guess I'm going to give it to Woods because he's been through so much. I mean, he came back from that car accident and everything like that. He resurrected his career back. I got to give him a lot of credit.
You know what? For me, it's a slam dunk, Tiger Woods. I mean, first of all, when he played at the Masters for the first time, he literally overlapped the field is what he did. He blew them away that they had to redesign that course because of Tiger Woods. But to be able to make 24 consecutive cuts at the Masters, really? I mean, that to me is, as far as I'm concerned. And okay, let's put that other comment up. Robert Wardell. Tiger Woods has the best video game. Enough said. There you go, Robert. Thanks for validating my point. Tiger Woods being able to do 24 consecutive Masters to me is easy. I understand that Scottie Scheffler is a heck of a player, and he had a great weekend, but Tiger Woods. But that's why I presented it this way. I gave everybody an either or. George?
Yeah, it's a tough one for me, but I'm going to go with Woods also. Like you guys were saying, what he's battled back from health-wise, a terrible auto accident, and tried to salvage his game. And obviously on one of the top stages in the world, Augusta National, come on. And that's an incredible streak that he has going. I know he ended terrible with especially the last couple of rounds were really bad, but he took it all like a man. He played the 4 rounds, made the cut. And Scottie, yeah, you've got a great career ahead of you. No question about it. We're not denying that. But what Woods has done in totality, I'm gonna say Woods on this one too.
All right. Well, I like this quote because it's exactly where we're going. Let's get to the hockey topic. Candy, you want to add anything to it?
Nope, I'm good. All
right.
Can I add a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was impressive, Tiger making the cut. He always makes the cut at Augusta, though. He hasn't missed a cut in 24 years there. But nothing tops winning a green jacket. You can't beat that. And Tiger, once he did make the cut, he ended up in last place after making the cut, which was unfortunate. I always root for Tiger. I'm a big Tiger fan. But winning a green jacket, I don't think anything trumps that.
No, maybe not, but don't worry. He's won his fair share of them anyway. So what's the difference? The only difference between Tiger Woods and Scottie Scheffler is golf is better when Tiger Woods is playing 4 rounds instead of 2. And if you don't believe me, okay, now that you're officially a part of the media, Josh, look at the TV ratings. Okay,
you're right about that, and I do think Tiger has it in him to maybe win one more. Unfortunately,
I hope so.
But I think it might happen.
Got to root for the guy. I mean, he's a Capricorn like I am. I think he's December 30th or 31st. I think December 30th, and I'm December 29th. Got to root for my fellow Capricorn. My God, seriously? All right, well, by popular demand, I said, okay, we're going to go out there. I like what I put that comment back up. Okay, Candy, I like the last one. Now, of course, the old people would say would. You're darn right, rocket scientists. Us oldies would say would. Although, I don't know. JBLS, are you an old people? Did you say Scheffler?
I said Scheffler.
All right, well, not all old people say would. Okay.
I'm not an old person. I don't buy into the old thing. The old is not me.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I'll find that out next week when you're paired up with me on Radio Row. We're going to have a good time, Ellis. Don't worry. Hang in there, kid. There's potential for you.
No.
So, all right, let's get to the hockey topics. I know the NHL, unfortunately for the Red Wings, their season is over, but they gave it a heck of a run. But we're not talking about the Detroit Red Wings tonight. We're talking about the Arizona Coyotes are moving to Salt Lake City. Let me tell you, I knew the Coyotes were a disaster when they went to Arizona. They should have played in the Arizona Memorial Coliseum. Instead, they went to America West Arena, where one side of the hockey nets were you couldn't even see them. And then I had a issue with their PR guy who didn't like the way I criticized their venues. And it's safe to say I never covered any more Coyotes games. And now 25 years later, they're done. So with that said, okay, Mr. Hockey, not Gordie Howe, but we got to get Joshua Dorr his due here. That he likes to talk about hockey. He's on the right show to do it. All right. So let's talk about the Arizona Coyotes. What are your thoughts about the move?
It was way overdue. That franchise is an embarrassment. The players aren't treated right. They're not treated like an NHL team. And it's good that they're going to go to a new state and get treated how an NHL team should. It's like a minor league franchise in the NHL, and it's time for a move.
Well, I even hear that they weren't even paying their hotel bills at the end of the year.
Yep, and they said the flights they took were junky flights. The food wasn't good. Sounds like they just were not treated right, and I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I mean, again, they weren't paying their hotel bills. Hotels are ganging up on them. That was dysfunctional from the beginning. And, the way I look at it, I saw it 25 years ago. George and I actually met a guy who was one of their PR guy who I didn't have an issue with. And when we met him over, because he's with Anaheim, and he'll say the PR guy, right? Remember, George, that he said that the guy was really a little bit too schizo. I won't put the words in this guy's mouth.
Right.
A little bit nervous for the sake of conversation but I knew all along that they should have gone to the Arizona Memorial Coliseum. Then when they tore down a shopping mall in Scottsdale, that was the location they were supposed to, but that deal found a way to fall apart. Scottsdale doesn't trust them. Glendale kicks them out. And then they're ending up here inside of a 4,500, 5,000 seat venue. Well, and ironically, okay, the owner of the Coyotes still has the rights to the American Hockey League franchise, is what he has. So it'll either be in Tucson or Tempe. I think it'll be Tucson next year. So, Joe, all right, with that said, I gave you a lot to work with about the Coyotes, okay, going to Salt Lake. You like the move?
It's a disgusting, dysfunctional team in Arizona. It's a disgrace because the people of Arizona deserve NHL team. And because of the reckless acts of their owner, they don't have one. Because I'm sure that they would support the team, but they were so turned off by the team that, it's not winning or losing. It's location. It's about how they're treated, how the team is perceived. And moving the team was a no-brainer. Utah, I don't know if they'll be able to support a hockey team. It'll be interesting. Just so the logo looks pretty good. I'm excited about it. I would like to see them go to Canada. Canada should have more teams. Hockey night in Canada is what it's all about. Utah, Vegas, Florida, hockey doesn't really make much sense, but whatever. Hey, as long as you support the teams, who cares?
Well, let me just tell you this, though. Even Wayne Gretzky couldn't save the Coyotes over in Glendale. So if Wayne Gretzky couldn't save it in Glendale, then as far as I'm concerned, okay, nobody was going to save it there. That was a train wreck waiting to happen. Okay, Candy?
The Coyotes, wow. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about the NHL is going to buy the Coyotes from owner Alex Morlow for $1 billion and then sell them to Ryan Smith for $1.2 billion. Arizona's hockey operations staff would relocate to Salt Lake City with the Coyotes, and Morella would have 5 years to secure a new arena, at which point he'd be granted a team of his own if he's successful. But wait a minute. They haven't been able to get fans and get a great stadium. I mean, Scott, you and I have been there. Like,
Right.
It's just not, I don't understand. But then again, I don't understand a lot of things about stadiums and why these billionaire owners don't think they need to fund stadiums, and they think they need all kinds of help from all the taxpayers. And yes, I get that cities get a lot of revenue and get fans in, and so they get profits there. But these billionaires are making more and more money. And it's, Salt Lake City, kudos to them for, trying this and getting a NHL franchise. I know there's a lot of other cities that would like it, but will it succeed there? I hope so.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about it is Candy and I went to the arena in Glendale, and I think they call it the Gila River Arena at that time in the West Valley. Their fan base, I get it, wasn't on the West Valley, more where the money's at in Scottsdale. I get that, but you know what? To me, that 25 years and you can't get it right. But they'll get 5 more years, and we'll find out if they're either going to be back or not. And that's about it. Now, Joe, you talked about a Canadian team, and obviously the Coyotes, Joe, came from Winnipeg. They were the former Winnipeg Jets. I think there's only one city that would warrant a Canadian team, and that would be Quebec City. They got the arena in place. I've heard thoughts about Hamilton or some of these other places. No way. Quebec City, on the other hand, I could definitely see that as a possibility, a little bit of realignment, and all of a sudden you have the Montreal-Quebec rivalry intact. With that said, we'll turn over to George.
Well, I like the move. I think it's a very good move, and I'll tell you why. Salt Lake City is a winter sports town. They've hosted the Winter Olympic Games. They are seriously considering hosting and bidding for, I should say first, you got to bid for the 2034 Winter Olympics. And by then, hopefully they would have a new arena for the Jazz and the NHL team. And Salt Lake City, and this is a report based upon a number of factors, is listed as the 4th among 403 U.S. cities in growth, jobs, wages, high-tech industry. So to me, this is a brilliant move. I mean, yeah, they've got the Jazz in the NBA, but they love their hockey out there, just like Denver loves their hockey, and Salt Lake City would be a nice rival for the Avalanche someday. And I think it's the best that the NHL could do under their circumstances. And like you said, Candy, I mean, they're going to give him a chance, but how really can you expect him to come through with this, with the background of no stadium, no new arena, and you're giving him another chance? But I think that's the only thing that Gary Bettman and the owners could do. So hats off. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad they're doing it. Arizona, another situation, just like the Oakland A's could not support a team any longer. It's just too bad, but they might return someday to the Phoenix area, but we'll see. But I'm all for this one, Scott.
Well, let me tell you what, Gary Bettman has done everything that he can to keep hockey in Arizona. All right, rocket scientist, I got some good advice for you, okay? You want some comments up there? Give me something worth posting, and then I'll do it, okay? Fair enough? Some of the things I'm seeing right now, obviously, I'm Ray Charles. I'm blind. I can't see them as well as I'd like to, okay? And then I'll be more than happy to post them. Hate to say it to you in that way, but, it is what it is. You got a good vibe. You wanted some hockey. All right, rocket scientist, this is your chance. Forget the dog check. I want some real stuff. Okay.
I think these comments deserve a big dog check right now. Dog check.
Right, well, big dog check, whatever it is from the big motor mouth here. Come on, rocket scientist. You've been begging me all week on these FaceTime calls for hockey. Get with it, man. Come on, rocket scientist. I have it out for you tonight. Get me some real good stuff to work. You want comments? Give me a reason to put them up there. All right. That said, we'll go on to one other topic that I want to get to. Why do teams change coaches during the regular season? This can apply to all sports, but the one that Joshua, rocket scientist, and nobody could get figured out, they made 10, 12, 15 attempts. They knew, okay, that I was going to go out there and mention the Utah one, but the one that Joe Ellis should be all too familiar with, okay, what part of New York are you from? Who's your favorite team, Joe?
In hockey, the Islanders.
Okay, very good. Great segue, Ellis. Okay, so the New York Islanders hired Red Wings nemesis, Patrick Waugh, clean shaven and all, by the way. And now they're in the NHL playoffs. See, Joshua, you could have given me 20 guesses. You would never have figured out I was bringing on Patrick Waugh, no matter how hard you tried. Okay, you weren't getting it. So with that said, Joe, I'll let you lead off this segment. Okay, and that's this. First of all, it's a two-part question, Joe. What are your thoughts about teams changing coaches in the middle of the year?
Sometimes you have to. Sometimes it's just not working. There's a time to do it, and there's a time not to. Most organizations don't understand when the time to do it is. But it's not always done properly. Look at Milwaukee. I don't think the move that they made midseason basketball wise was the right time, and I think that the Bucks suffered for it. It just depends on the team, the organization, how the players respond to it. It's a tough choice.
Second question. Some thoughts about the Patrick Wall hiring.
Listen, he's one of the best goalies of all time. He knows hockey. He's coached. He's done well. Can't go wrong hiring somebody like that.
I'll tell you one thing though about Patrick Waugh. Not has he coached well, but he's been able to perform during the most clutch situations for the Avalanche, Montreal Canadiens, and so forth. So I'll tell you, Patrick Waugh to me is a guy that should be in hockey. The New York Islanders obviously thought enough of him to bring him in midseason. He's done an unbelievable job turning that franchise around. All right, Josh, go ahead. What's your take on it?
I think it was a good move. I don't know if it's always the right choice to change your coach in the middle of a season, just like JB was saying with Milwaukee, but Patrick Waugh's a legend. I think it was an awesome move for them. I think they made the playoffs, didn't they? Pretty sure
sure
they made
did.
the playoffs. And yeah, it was a smart move. It's good to have a guy like that on the bench, and he's a legend in hockey, and it's good to have him in the NHL.
Okay, well, that whole second part to this Rocket Scientist 69 evidently took my advice. Okay, you want comments up there? We need questions like this. Question for Josh: who are you a bigger fan of, Waugh or Luongo?
Waugh is a bigger legend than Luongo. He was a better goalie, even though they're both great goalies. But I grew up watching Luongo. I know him personally. He's a great guy, and I'd have to go with Luongo on that.
Okay, we'll write it with Rocket Scientist again, and then everybody else can continue. All right, from Rocket Scientist, give us your two playoff final teams.
Two playoff final teams. I'm going to go with the Panthers and the Dallas Stars.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right. All right, we went with you, JB. Candy, some thoughts about why change? Do they change teams in the middle? Obviously, the Doc Rivers situation it worked out, but overall, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. What are your thoughts, Candy?
So I think it really depends on the team dynamics. Is it the right move for the team at the time? Do they think that the coaching isn't being effective? Are the players not listening to the coach? Are they not following the coach? Do they not respect him? But if you're going to make a change, I think you need to make a change because you know that there's somebody else out there that's going to be better for the team. Because if you're not getting better, then why are you changing, especially mid-season? Because I think that really can mess with the flow and the chemistry. But again, if you need that shakeup, it might be beneficial. Do I think the Bucks? Because we all know that I'm a big Milwaukee fan. Do I think that the Bucks made the right choice? We'll never really know because we didn't give Griffin enough of a leash. But the question is what else was behind that decision? Because I don't think it was just as easy as let's go out and get somebody else. I have a feeling it has to do a lot with Giannis and maybe what he wanted and or didn't want. At first he did want coach, and then I'm not so sure that he did in the end, and maybe that's why they made a change, or maybe there was a conflict with the ownership group. You just never know. So do I think it's beneficial? Sometimes. Do I think Milwaukee is better this year because of it? No, but it still remains to be seen because let's face it, the way we how do I want to put this? The way we determine if it was successful or not is if they win it all. Because let's face it, that's what it's all about. If you're a Super Bowl champ, you did great. If you won a ring, you're great. If you win World Series, you're great. If you're an NBA champion, you're great. So I guess it remains to be seen. We'll see if Milwaukee wins the championship, then we're all going to say, yes, it was the right choice. But if they don't, then we're going to say, no, it was the wrong choice.
All right, Solly, I don't know where a lot of your comments have gone towards me, which is why I haven't put a few up, but I will put this one up. You are right about one thing. I do like crusty pepperoni pizza. And if you go to Detroit, there's a lot of good deep dish stuff, as Joe Ellis is going to find out when I drag him all over the place and take him to some really good places in Metro Detroit. So Ellis is going to have to realize he's got probably the one person out here that could probably cart him around town and show him some of the best places. Ellis, get ready to have Coney Islands, okay, and deep dish pizza, and I guarantee, okay, I'll show you some really good places, and you might even get to have a steak on a 755-degree volcano rock. All right, Ellis, so save your appetite. You're going to have to work it off. I don't know how many shoes you have, but bring 2 or 3 because you might burn up your sneakers before long. All right, who have I left out here? George, or you're?
Well, it's always a gamble. I mean, nobody knows. I would suspect that the general manager or the president of operations or superstars are kind of like the liaison. These guys are going behind the coach's back or even talking to the media, some of them, and they're letting people know that we don't like Coach A because he does this to us. What it is, it's very subjective. If the team appears to be going in the wrong direction, there's always the prerogative of making a change. And sometimes, like Candy said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And yeah, the ultimate is going to be how far do we get in the playoffs, or did we even get to the finals? And of course, did we win the title? So making changes, I'm not totally against them. I'm not a big fan of that. And Scott keeps reminding me I talk about Detroit a lot, but I'll just leave it at this. We had a guy who was a low-key manager named Les Moss, was hired to take the Detroit Tigers to the next level. But guess who was available down in Cincinnati? Because their crazy owner or general manager let Sparky Anderson go. So the biggest, boldest move the Tigers made that I can recall was they fired a good guy, a good baseball man, Les Moss, and they hired Sparky Anderson. How'd that turn out? Pretty damn well. They won the 1984 World Series. So, yeah, sometimes it happens, and sometimes you got to do it.
Well, if you want me to top that, that's easy. All I got to do is go to L.A. Okay, Magic Johnson. Here's the thing. A lot of these in-season coaching changes are a result of superstar players putting their foot down, and this is what has to happen, okay? Joe, I think you're nodding your head, right? So if I believe you are. So here, let's go back to L.A. How about when Magic Johnson got Paul Westhead fired, and who was his replacement? Ever heard of a guy named Pat Riley? And guess what?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Showtime. You get it? There's a theme here. So, the Milwaukee Bucks situation, wasn't sure about it, whether they had reservations in the first place, but why would you have hired Adrian Griffin if you had any doubts? I think the biggest mistake they actually made was when they let Mike Budenholzer go. I really do. I mean, Mike Budenholzer was a heck of a coach, won a championship at that thing called impatience. Maybe Giannis got impatient. I don't know. Do they work? Some case yes, some case no. Depends on the situation. So, so again, Joshua, okay, just to put things in perspective with your hockey, I knew you were going to get the Patrick Waugh, and I'm glad that you did make your initial debut appearance when Patrick Waugh came on the show.
That was a good question, Scott.
Yeah, so you guys can sit here and think you could probe me for information, but I like getting hockey topics on from time to time, and the Sports Exchange and Fire Up are the 2 areas you're most likely going to hear them anyway. So with that said, everybody in the crew did an outstanding job. See, Josh, how do you feel now about being nervous being on here?
I feel good. I'm no longer the Florida Fried Chicken.
Yeah, well, that's true. We got rid of that nickname. I pinned that nickname Joe on this guy, but he kept talking to me. I don't have the guts to do it. I'm scared. Okay. Well, guess what? It isn't that difficult. He did, and he did a pretty admirable job. So, Candy, what are you smiling about?
What? Well, I'm putting up some questions here that the fans want to ask Josh.
All right, go ahead.
Which
Question.
sport is more difficult, hockey or golf? Definitely hockey. It's the most difficult. I mean, golf, actually. Sorry, correct myself. Golf is the most difficult sport there is.
And we all know full well that hockey has the best playoffs out there, anyways, compared to any of them. I don't think too
That
many
shirt
people
says
disagree.
Chipotle.
Okay, well, all right, go ahead. So now you got that. What other ones you got up there? All right, go ahead.
If you don't need to win it all, I agree with your thought. But just being in the game and having fun could make you more famous than winning. William.
Okay.
Good comment.
All right. No, and you know what, rocket scientist, if you want people to sing songs, go to American Idol. We don't do that on this show.
Can I hop on the piano and sing the song at the same time? I have a lovely piano behind me that's calling my name.
Yeah, so
There
do
you
I don't
go.
know. You and George have the same decorator.
He's right next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it, JB?
I love what you guys did with the place.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Welcome anytime.
yeah. I don't know if I could call them the Beverly Hillbillies, but we'll think of something else that matches that attire. I'll need to think about that. So
Motown Hillbillies?
not really. Joe, are you currently in Chicago right now?
Yeah,
Yeah. When do you actually get to Detroit?
Thursday.
Oh, next week you're coming in Thursday?
Yeah. I
Oh,
got some
so
stuff to take care of before then.
Oh, so you won't be at there earlier in the week, huh?
No.
Okay, no problem. Good to know. So, with that said, any closing thoughts? You know what? I got room for parting shots. So, Joe, go ahead and lead off.
How about the Cubs? 5-4 on the road trip. They didn't blow 2 late game leads. Would be 7-2. They're going to be at first place by the end of April. Not look back. Bye bye Milwaukee. Sorry, Candy. You guys had a good run though. We took your manager. Now we'll just take the division.
Okay, Josh. Josh, some parting shots. Anything you want to get off your chest real quick in the sports world?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the Panthers playing the Lightning. That's starting Sunday. It's going to be a great series. And I got to finish this off with a dark chick.
Okay. It's your parting shot. Can't go away from that. George?
I'll tell you what, there isn't anything greater than those Detroit Red Wings come from behind victories the last few days. Just unbelievable hockey, sending games into overtime, then winning it. And then yesterday's, of course, was won in a shootout. And yet the Red Wings finished just an eyelash short as Washington Capitals beat them out. But Hockey Town is back. It was a great season. The Red Wings had some really good shooters, but they need to shore up the defense and the goaltending in the offseason to contend next year.
All right, Candy, some parting shots.
Well, my parting shot, I'm saddened. I'm glad that we're starting to have more focus on women's basketball and women's college basketball. But if any of you know, Caitlin Clark was the #1 draft pick on Monday night. She is going to make, for her entire 4-year rookie contract, it's worth $338,056. That's it for 4 years. The Denver Nuggets mascot, Rocky, makes $625,000 annually. How sad is a mascot making more money than a professional athlete in a sport for 4 years? I get WNBA hasn't been up there, but I think that is a huge salary discrepancy. I can tell you that Clark will earn a base salary of $76,535 this year. I can also tell you that the average NBA mascot earns $60,000 per year. And just to put it in perspective, when you look at the contrast, Victor Wembanyama, similarly hailed as a generational talent, albeit on the men's side, secured a 4-year rookie contract worth $55.2 million when he was selected in the number one overall in the NBA for 2023. What a disparity. What a travesty that it isn't, that it's so far apart.
All right, my parting shot is this. We talked about Bill Belichick. Obviously, to me, not getting hired in this hired cycle. I would love to see Bill Belichick and Nick Saban take their knowledge and stay on television permanently. I think that Nick Saban will be doing that with ESPN. I think Bill Belichick needs to do that as well. I think the fans would really appreciate from the knowledge that they've had both coaching and the reason why Nick Saban got out of it is he's sick and tired of the name, image, likeness, the free agency that's going on. So Nick got out at the right time. He knew that when he kept having to recruit his own players and everything going on, he did. Bill Belichick, he gave it a great run, okay? But I think it's time for you to finally turn in the clipboard, headphones for a microphone. Football will be better because of it. Nick Saban, looking forward to seeing your commentary later. And I believe they're both going to be over at the NFL draft next week. So perhaps we'll catch up with them at some point. Katie, go out there and I want you to go over all the other stuff that we have.
Well, first, Joshua wanted to say something about my parting shot. So let's let him say what he wants to.
I see where you're coming from, Candy, but I don't think the WNBA makes any money. I think they lose money as far as I'm aware. I haven't looked into it too much. She's going to make millions with sponsorships and endorsements and everything. And I don't see how they can pay them more if the WNBA is not making money. Maybe that'll change with this shift, with these new players coming in, making it more popular. Perhaps it'll enhance their salaries. But for how popular the WNBA is compared to the NBA, I don't think they should be making anywhere near an NBA player's salary.
I respect that opinion, but again, a mascot who puts on a costume and entertains is making more than she's going to make for 4 years, and you can't say that you're going to the game to see that mascot. You're going to go to the game to see Caitlin. That's my point.
The mascot for the WNBA or like a NBA mascot, you're saying? It's
an NBA mascot.
Well, the NBA teams that are paying that mascot are profitable teams. I see where you're coming from, and hopefully it does change. Hopefully the WNBA can bring in more revenue. But even with just her salary on the NBA or the WNBA, she's going to make a ton of money.
Okay. Well, okay. Giggly Gator, you're right about one thing. Great minds think alike. Very good. All right. So with that said, okay, Candy, go over our information. Will everybody go theirs, and we'll call it a night. And obviously, Pundit will be on tomorrow night, and Fire Up Candy will be handling both shows. I'll be off tomorrow night, and next time you'll see me is next week in Detroit. Go ahead, Candy.
Okay. Well, if you like this show, subscribe, share us with all your peeps. Subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, but also go out and subscribe to other channels of contributors for us. So like Sideline Sports, go out and subscribe to them as well. We have a website, www.southfloridatribune.com. Scott, George, JB, they all write for it. I take pictures. Go out, check us out. If you have any show ideas, just email us, southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us on iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, Castbox, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcast. The other thing, there is a book out there. Someone wrote this. George wrote the foreword, and Scott wrote the actual book. It's called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Even George has got a copy of it there. You can find this on Apple Books, Google Books. Oh, Josh has got his up. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle, and you can get it Barnes & Noble. Get your copy today. See the picture of Scott with Muhammad Ali inside. Scott writes about how media has changed over his 40 years in the business, and he's got lots of stories to tell. Okay, Scott, back to you.
Old school media versus new school media. All right, Joe, go ahead, lead off. Parting shots.
No, we already did
Or
parting
Or not
shots.
parting
I'll be
shots.
behind you.
That was another lifetime ago. All right, let everybody know how they get a hold of you. And by the way, I should point out that Joe Ellis wrote a story for both Sideline Sports as well as South Florida Tribune that's titled Life After Shohei Ohtani. I encourage you to take a look at it. He did a really good job. He covered an Angels game recently. What Southern California was it, like 10 days ago, Joe, or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 10 days. And then he did a really good job. The one thing that you should look for in that story, by the way, is a one-on-one interview that he was able to get with Mike Trout. It's an excellent listen. So that'll actually be on social media tomorrow. We just completed everything and it's all ready to roll. So, all right, Joe, I want to make sure we got that out there ahead of time. So let everybody know how they get a hold of you.
Don't forget the website, sidelinesportsnet.com. We're on the Believe Network Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m., WGJY in Atlanta. JB _ the program on X. Make sure you listen every Tuesday night.
Very good. Okay, George.
Yeah, you can follow me on the South Florida Tribune. I write under the Motor City Tribune banner, and I got columns there. And at the end of the column, there's a link to my book, which is called Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air. And Scott's in the book, and so are so many of our great broadcast friends. Some still with us. Unfortunately, some no longer with us. But Detroit and Michigan have had a great relationship with sports broadcasting. So you might want to get a copy of that. You can find me on Yahoo, gicorn@yahoo.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. And, of course, on Twitter, Sanji Sports 99. And follow me here on 108 Stitches, the Sports Exchange, Pundit's Pundit, and this, this is a great network. This network and Sideline Sports, glad to be part of them. Thank you.
All right, Josh, you know what? You're the new guy on the planet. Let everybody know how they get a hold of you as well.
Joshua Dorr here. You can get a hold of me Monday through Thursday on the South Florida Sports Exchange YouTube channel chat room. I'll be on there all the time. Everybody has to come on. It's a great show, great channel, awesome energy. We need more people to follow this show. Let's blow it up.
And you know what, Josh? I will tell you this. You have an open invite anytime you want to come on a show. I think you really did a really excellent job. Yeah, we'll definitely keep the door open for you,
One more
Josh.
thing to add. This is in honor of Smoking Jay.
All right, well, there you go. But you did a really good job, First Tag. So every one of you, I'm proud of everything that we've done tonight. This does conclude this edition of the Sports Exchange. We'll be on the road in Detroit. We don't know exactly what the broadcast situation is going to be like, so stay tuned. I'm anticipating we'll do a show on Tuesday, but again, I'll come up with more clarification as time goes on. But the one thing I do know, Candy, is why don't you let everybody know about some of the other broadcasts that you do as well.
So Tuesday nights, you can find me on Chicks and Salsa or 3 Chicks in a Pod. Just depends on which we're doing that night. But it's always Tuesday nights, 7:30 Eastern time. And then, of course, tomorrow night, Fire Up. Me and Smoking Jeremy B are the hosts. It's typically anywhere from 8:30 till 9 o'clock is when we start. You just never know. It depends on how long Pundit's Pundit goes. But always, if you subscribe and you click the notifications, you'll know when we come on, and boom, you can be right in the chat room just like Josh. And look, Josh, he's been in the chat room, and look, he got himself on the show. So great job, Josh.
Yeah, we do reward top-notch chatters, and Joshua seems to have not only taken his typing and turning it into talk, and that's what it's all about. So, Josh, you're an example of what we're trying to build out here. People that are willing to come on with us and talk sports, and that's what we were able to.
And I need to call out Blake and Rocket Scientist, and I love Dusty and Braden. They need to get on here next.
Okay, well, whatever. We'll see how that works out, but you did a heck of a job for sure. So on that, but that said, so that concludes this edition of the Sports Exchange. On behalf of Candy Ebling, Joshua Bernstein, JB Ellis, and George Eichhorn, my name is Scott Morgan, Roth, the Motor City Madmouth. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Sports Exchange, and we will catch you the next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody, and thanks for all the people that were commenting in the chat room. Thank you.
All right.